What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Friday night. Watching a little bit of college football over there, some Pac-12 college football. So that's been fun. But this video is going to be kept in the world of professional football, or at least the subject matter of it is going to revolve around a player who plays for my professional football team. And I'm making this video because I feel like the issue is now significant enough that I kind of feel like I need to address it because it involves a player on my team, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm ignoring something or giving somebody special treatment or some kind of double standard because he plays for my favorite team. I want to at least address this in a video, and I don't want to do it in a video where it's going to get lost among actual football talk. Now, for actual football talk, I'll just say real quick that right now, when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks on the field, everything kind of sucks right now. We've got all these injuries. The offense has played 2 good quarters all season, more or less. Defense can't stop the run. We're not forcing turnovers. Special teams is falling apart because of injuries. It's not fun right now to talk about the Seahawks football team when they're on the field, but I would much rather talk about this team on the field than talk about this. But I feel like I should go ahead and say at least something about it. So now, the other reason why this video maybe doesn't need to be made, even though I'm going to go ahead and make it, is because this issue has kind of died off a little bit since it initially flared up. But that's intentional. I wanted to give this issue some time to breathe. I wanted to give both sides full opportunity to present their own sides of the story. I wanted time for evidence to come out so that we could have a full picture of what happened rather than just pieces of it. So, timeline here. Most of you guys probably already know most of this stuff. Back in August, late August, 5 weeks ago, something like that, Michael Bennett, all-star Pro Bowl defensive end for the Seattle Seahawks, went to Las Vegas to attend the Mayweather-McGregor fight. And after this fight, he's heading back to his hotel, and there are gunshots in the area, or what sounded like gunshots. I think they actually determined that there weren't gunshots, but it just sounded like there was. So people were panicking, people were ducking, people were running around. They weren't really sure what to do. And this is according to Bennett's side of the story. I'm telling it from his perspective because this story broke because Michael Bennett tweeted out his version of the story a few weeks ago. So he says that he was running away from the sound as everybody else in the area was, and he was singled out by Las Vegas police officers, and he was actually arrested, and he was detained in a police car for a period of time. He felt he was treated unfairly and unjustly because of, racial reasons, and he was released after they realized, hey, this is Michael Bennett, and, he's not the shooter, so they let him go. And basically he was trying to use the story to make a point that, there's still racism in America, And I'll read a couple of the excerpts from his tweet just so I, give the full picture of it. You can obviously look up this whole thing pretty easily online. Like many of the people in the area, I ran away from the sound looking for safety. Las Vegas police officers singled me out and pointed their guns at me for doing nothing more than simply being a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time. As I laid on the ground, complying with his commands to not move, he placed his gun near my head and warned me that if I moved, he would blow my fucking head off. Terrified and confused by what was taking place, a second officer came over and forcefully jammed his knee into my back, making it difficult for me to breathe. They then cinched the handcuffs on my wrists so tight that my fingers went numb. A little further down, all I could think of was, I'm going to die for no other reason than I am black and my skin color is somehow a threat. My life flashed before my eyes as I thought of my girls. Would I ever play with them again, or watch them have kids, or be able to kiss my wife again and tell her I love her? I kept asking the officers what did I do and reminding them that I had rights, that they were duty-bound to respect. The officers ignored my pleas and instead told me to shut up and then took me to the back of a nearby police car where I sat for what felt like an eternity until they apparently realized I was not a thug, common criminal, or ordinary black man, but Michael Bennett, a famous professional football player. So I read this thing at first, and for the most part I was like, okay, I like that this is the way he's choosing to deal with this, because at the end of the tweet, actually, let me read the last sentence real quick. I have retained Oakland's civil rights attorney, John Burris, to investigate and explore all my legal options, including filing a civil rights lawsuit for the violation of my rights. And yeah, that's the right way to handle something like this. If you, in America, you are treated unfairly by the cops, if you are physically assaulted by cops, if you are the victim of excessive police violence, then this is how you deal with it. You deal with the problem the best you can in the moment, which involves cooperating the best you can, giving them no good reason to make it even worse, and then after the incident is over, then you file a complaint, then you pursue legal action. You don't try to fight back when the cop is trying to arrest you, because the wheels are already in motion at that moment. And I think that's the mistake a lot of people make. They get in a situation where they feel like they're being treated unfairly by the police, so they think that gives them the right to fight back, the right to run away, the right to try to fight the police officer, and that's how some of these situations escalate. So I was like, okay, cool. I can get behind this. Michael Bennett is handling things in absolutely the right way, and I hope he gets his justice. Obviously, I mean, we've always kind of known Michael Bennett was into some of this, racism and social justice stuff, and I was fine with it. He's a goofy guy too, and he's a really good player. And on some things I might agree with him, on some things I might not. But I was fine. I was fine with this. And then, so the incident happens. He tweets out about it maybe a week or two later. I can't remember exactly. And then the police replied back with, "We don't think anything was done wrong by our police officers. We're not going to suspend anybody. Nobody's going to get in trouble. We don't feel like anybody did anything wrong." And somewhere in there we got some, incomplete, pretty small and insignificant video of Bennett actually getting arrested. So that part of it actually did happen, and it seemed like things were just going to go back and forth for a little while. And I'm like, okay, I hope Michael Bennett gets some degree of justice here. And then we got another video. Yeah, we got a week or two later, we got a video from another perspective. I think it was a video camera that was actually on an officer who was involved in the incident. Not the one who actually arrested him. He had his camera turned off, which I don't know about that, but basically they show these cops coming into an area in, I believe, a casino near some slot machines, and Bennett is hiding, and then he runs away, which made him stand out among people who may have been running away from the sound. But Bennett's actions seem to resemble somebody who was probably unintentionally on his part, I understand that, running away from the cops. So they chased him because there were just gunshots in this area. This guy looked like he was trying to hide from us. Now it looks like he's trying to run away from us. We're going to chase him. That's doing your job. So, okay, at this point I was like, okay, fine. He misunderstood their intentions. The police misunderstood his intentions. That's fine. And then we got more video of the rest of the arrest. At this point, actually, there was another video that got released earlier today. We've seen quite a bit of this entire arrest process. So, we never heard anywhere in that video one of the police officers warning him that if Bennett moved, he would blow his effing head off. Near as I can tell, there's no indication at all of that happening anywhere. Nor did he ever have an actual gun pointed at his head. I did see one picture that showed a police officer pointing a taser at Bennett's head after Bennett was already in handcuffs, which, granted, is unnecessary. If he already has his handcuffs on, then I don't know why you're pointing a gun to his head. But it was also just a picture I saw. It could have just been the angle. I don't know. But anyway, there was no gun. Let's see here. And he says he keeps asking the officers, "What did I do?" And you can see that in one of the videos. He does do that, but near the end of the incident, it pretty clearly shows an officer going up to him and explaining exactly what their thought process was and why they took the actions that they did. In the letter, Michael Bennett says he was released without any legitimate justification for the officer's abusive conduct, but I just didn't see it. Maybe he feels like they didn't do a good enough job explaining it, but there's this new video that just came out tonight, or at least I just saw it today in the news, where, you know, he's explaining it looked like you were running away from us, it looked like you were trying to hide from us, and we just heard gunshots in this area, so we did our job, basically. If you can look up the video and see exactly what he said. I don't want to put the video in my video because then it'll probably get taken down or something. I know that's something that's been happening a lot. So basically, Michael Bennett decided to, as near as I can tell anyway, flat out lie that a police officer was threatening to blow his head off. He decided to lie about the fact that the officers refused to explain why they did what they did. And he basically took this incident in which it seems like he was just unlucky to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and seems to have spun it to try to make it fit into some kind of agenda. And I'm sorry, that's disgusting to me. And I really hope, well, I don't know about that, but for Michael Bennett's sake, I hope he has something else to say on this matter. I hope he can, or there's some new piece of evidence that comes out that justifies what he said, because at this point, I don't know how else to put it other than this guy flat out lied about his experience with the Las Vegas police in an attempt to curry sympathy for his cause, because Michael Bennett is one of the key figures who was starting this season by not standing for the anthem. And, you know, when asked why, he would always say, because we don't have equality in this country, and, you know, black people are not treated properly in this country, which, look, I don't agree with that at all, but I don't have a problem with him doing that, but I definitely have a problem with him lying about an experience he had, exaggerating it, and trying to use it almost as a political tool. And as of right now, that's what I see from this incident. So, yeah, yeah, this is a hard video to make. I've never tackled an issue like this in a video I've made, but Michael Bennett's been one of our best players so far this year on the field. He's one of the guys who is absolutely doing his job on the field, but right now, it's hard to not feel some real disdain for this guy, because he is taking an already very sensitive issue that is being attacked every day on both sides by a lot of people, this issue of racism in the United States, police brutality in the United States, and he seems to have intentionally thrown oil on this fire where, you know, he fabricated it. He made up the oil. Yes, he was arrested temporarily because the police had reason to believe he was a suspect in a in a gun being fired in a public area, and by his own admission, he was released later that evening. They realized, oh, you're not a suspect, you're free to go, and that's what happens sometimes. That can happen to anybody. I don't see why we have to bring race into this, but even if you want to give him that, to lie about the way he was treated by police officers, to fabricate the details of his momentary detainment to help his cause, it's really not what we need right now. And as of right now, it looks like the NFL is not going to put him in any kind of trouble. He's not going to get suspended, or maybe it'll change now that we have more information. But with the information we have right now, if he did get in trouble, I would say that what he has done probably deserves it. And right now, I don't want to say I hate the dude, but for a dude who has always kind of walked the line between being, funny and being obnoxious, starting to wear out his welcome a little bit with me. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. This video might be controversial. I might get a bunch of angry comments on this video, but I gotta tell it like I see it. And if somebody else has more evidence that I haven't seen that indicates, oh, actually this, and that, please bring it up to me, because for Michael Bennett's sake, I hope there is another bullet that he has that he can fire at this to make what he said make a little more sense. I hope that he thought that the taser was a gun and not just a taser. I hope that somehow the video just didn't pick up the police officer threatening to blow his head off. I hope that, well, I don't even know how you justify the part where the police officer pretty clearly explains to him what they saw from their perspective. So, yeah, right now, not too thrilled with Michael Bennett's conduct. This is not what we need right now. The stuff like this, unfair police brutality, possibly motivated by race, does happen from time to time. I don't think it happens nearly as much as the mainstream media would have you believe, but it does happen. We don't need to be inventing these things. So that's what I got. I'll make some actual football videos tomorrow, but I really just wanted to make one video where I got all this out, because it's not good. It's not good for anybody when this kind of stuff gets put out there. All right, see you guys later.